And so I was watching this thing, right? It says continue to drop videos when you're trying to market your channel. So that's what I'm gonna do. And so sometimes I'll be running out of things to talk about, but I wanna there's this person, right? I don't want to say her name because um I don't know if she was gonna get offended or not. And I don't really know her. I just know her from just comments. But I know one time I said a comment. I did some video. I was talking a gang of shit. Like I was just, and then she was like, "Man, what's wrong with you?" Like the way she got at me was so, and it was not that. It was a really short. It was like a few paragraphs, but it was so. It was so. It was so. The cut was so deep. The word. I mean, the words were so sharp that it like literally just. She like literally just like lit me up. And but like the first time in my life, like for probably the second time in my life, I didn't have no get back. And most people don't like situations like that. I do because I'm one of them people that like if you don't get at me like that, I'm gonna continue to do what I'm gonna do. And the way she did it was it was just so cool and so it was nuts, you know. And to this day, because of this person, I don't, I don't want to say her name because I don't want to get her. I don't know what's going on in her personal life. I don't want to say anything stupid, get her caught up by her boy. So, so, but to this day, her words were, they still have, they still carry a bit of weight on me because when I press record and when I press stop recording, I still have her in my head, like, like I watch how aggressive I am. Just the way I am now, like I don't just the way I am is the way I'm trying to become or change is a lot because of some of these comments on YouTube, and I don't even know her, but I understand I understand her I understand her point. I understand her perspective, and and uh and it's good to have people with other ideas and people from other walks of life and people from other parts of the world or wherever that correct you, because sometimes we get caught up in ourselves where we're so used to doing everything our way, doing things our way, and we're accustomed of nobody really questioning us sometimes, that we get used to it. So when we're around somebody like that's not afraid to approach you, I respect that kind of stuff because I'm that type of person too. And so um this is to her. I know exactly what you're trying to tell me. I understand what your point is. And there's a whole nother part to this that it would be useless for me to explain to you because it's just gonna I'm not gonna say you're not gonna understand it, but you're not gonna get it because it's just gonna seem like it doesn't make sense. And I don't want to try to change, like if I seem like I'm trying to change your idea or change the way you operate, because that's what it'll end up sounding like. So, but there's things that the world is changing. It is, but there's some things that don't change. And I understand. I'm amongst people that are not like me. I'm amongst people that don't think like me, and I'm not used to that. YouTube is it could be damaging. It could be uh, rewarding. It could be all kinds of different things, right? So you try to stay inside that. You try to stay inside. Try to stay within yourself, right? And my thing is this: you can't straddle the fence. It's either or, right? And a lot of people, because they'll be like, well, this is YouTube, and this is why I do this, or this is why I do that. I don't want to do none of that. So I just refrain from not doing a lot of things that a lot of people do. I just don't do it. And maybe it is going to hold me back from growing or whatever, but that's okay, because I know I didn't have to do anything against my conduct, and I didn't have to do anything against the way I've always lived to benefit from it. I stood my ground, and if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But at least I know I tried my way. When you grow as a man, as an adult, you do grow. You're supposed to. But instead of me turning my back or me putting myself on a pedestal because I made it through, it'd be wrong for me to turn my back and not guide the homies that have no clue. So that's why I stay within my box. And a lot of people look at me like you got dudes that are looking at me because I don't want to deal with dropouts, so I'm the bad guy. Like, dude, like that's when I knew that like everything has changed. But like my girl said, she goes, the only thing that's changed are the people that are on YouTube. No gang members are on YouTube that think like you. This is what my lady said. She goes, nobody thinks like you. Only people in prison think like you. And she's right. She's right. So I'm never going to tell you to, I'm never going to be that person that says, you know what, stop gangbanging. If you get caught up, go tell, check in, because it's not worth. I'm never going to be that dude. What I will do is tell you and try to, show you or guide you. You can maneuver through these landmines and make it. There is a way without tapping out, And I remember I was talking to, when I first came to YouTube, and I remember talking to High Power Fitness, right? And I was like, damn, this old man he actually has a purpose on being on YouTube, right? There's actually a reason for him to be here. So I sat back and I was still like, damn, what's my reason for being here? Like, you gotta have a reason, right? And I was like, man, I don't want to be on here just telling prison stories. And I didn't know what my reason was to be here until I seen all these homies or so-called content creators that say their homies are, they're active or whatever. And when I started seeing that the way they navigate and conduct themselves and the messages that they were sending, I found my calling, and it was to let homies know that you don't gotta be like that. You don't gotta sell yourself just for some subscribers and do shit that's not acceptable that will get you murdered just so you can be liked on YouTube. So, and to change the narrative. So it took me a while, right? Go, boy, go sit down. How you gotta go sit down? But when you see some of these dudes, these content creators, and you hear them out, and you hear the things that they're talking about, you don't change into somebody like that. You don't do that. And that's because a lot of them have never really been committed to the streets, right? They were committed to drugs, committed to that's not being committed to the streets. So you got people, the way you raise your son, right? And the way you raise little homies are two different things. Because when you tell your son about loyalty, dignity, responsibility, you're telling him to get a job, take care of his family, go to school, pay your bills. When you tell a little homie to be accountable, dignity, you're telling him when he gets caught, don't say nothing. You get busted on a murder that you have nothing to do with you, you don't say nothing. You see somebody in the hood, that's disrespecting, you take his win from him, right? It's two different ways, the way you raise your son and your little homie. My problem is with these people that have never raised a little homie and trying to bring that family, that family way to the streets, it does not work, and it's not going to never be accepted. So when I see these mixed signals that you guys are sending, you're actually putting people in danger. You guys got to understand that you don't do that. You know, so no, I got to understand. My bad. I got to understand that that's what you people do. And other people that are not gang members are buying into this shit. And that shit is so mind-boggling. Because outside of YouTube, don't nobody give a fuck about dubs and gunners. Nobody cares about them. Nobody gives a shit about these. Listen to me, people. They still have a huge following, and these dudes cannot go outside. So for me to sit here and try to correct I'm not gonna get nowhere. Because if you think that gunner and dubs is the standard of what a retired gang member is, I'm never gonna get nowhere near that, because that's exactly the opposite of the standard that I'm trying to go for. Does that make sense? So you homies and you dudes that are not SNY, instead of helping them with this fake ass narrative, why don't you guys show other homies that you could make it out the hood and be successful without doing shit with dropouts? That's it. That could be such a powerful message. But when you guys can't sit there and just not do it because you want subscribers and all that, leave me by myself, and it's going to be a fight uphill battle. But it don't matter. I'm willing to. You know what? I'm willing to do this for however long I'm gonna have to. But as long as there's somebody that's here that's saying that this is not how actors are. This is not what you do. That's going to be my duty. I can't just sit back and be a part of the circus. I'm not. I'll never be built like that. Never. You guys be cool, be safe. I have one more video to do. That's 3 for the day. Listen to me. I don't even know why people drop paperwork. I don't even know. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change not a damn thing. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. As long as you're a comadre, as long as you talk about people behind their backs, as long as you don't show up to no fades, YouTube will love you. Facts. I'm gone.